Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, well, we're really putting on our thinking caps, maybe our running shoes too, to tackle something big.
Hmm.
It's this challenge that's kind of hiding in plain sight in education today, the problem of the sedentary student.
Yeah, it's everywhere when you start looking.
Exactly. And look, we're not just talking about, kids needing to maybe get outside a bit more. We're diving into what the student experience actually is now in this super fast digital world. I mean, it's
Yeah.
built around sitting for hours.
It really is a structure of sitting.
From the breakfast table straight to a chair in class, then maybe another chair for homework, and then often, yeah, more sitting for relaxing gaming screens.
The whole day can be structured that way. It's like
Yeah.
the system itself demands stillness while asking for peak mental work.
Yeah.
It's a paradox.
So I want you, our listener, maybe you're a student yourself or a parent, an educator, just take a second and think about what lack of physical fitness really means here. Our sources are really clear on this. It's not just, oh, I can't run very fast.
No, not at all.
It's a fundamental lack of the regular movement the body needs. Movement that supports basic functions, keeps you emotionally steady, and critically, gives you the mental sharpness needed for learning.
Right. If your body's signaling shut down because it's been inactive, how can your brain be expected to perform complex tasks?
Exactly. It's like trying to run software on hardware that's half asleep.
And that's really our goal today, isn't it? We're using the research you gathered to go deep on this, not just saying move more.
Mm.
We need to really unpack the why. What are the real causes? Institutional, tech, home life, psychology.
All of it.
Yeah, all of it. And then look at the effects, the immediate ones on thinking and feeling, and importantly, offer some solid practical solutions for everyone involved.
And the scale.
Mm.
We need to grasp that first. It's staggering.
It really is. Just look at the global picture. The World Health Organization put out a report in 2022. It's frankly alarming. It found over 80%, 80% of adolescents around the world don't meet the minimum recommended levels for physical activity.
80%, that's 4 out of every 5 students.
Think about that. 4 out of 5 are already starting at a disadvantage, physiologically, cognitively, just because they're not moving enough.
Wow.
So this isn't some small local issue. It's huge,
Yeah.
systemic. And it's affecting how the next generation learns, copes, develops. It's a fundamental barrier.
Okay, so let's really get into that definition. Physical inactivity. It sounds simple, but it's more complex than just skipping gym class, right?
Absolutely. The sources define it as basically an overall shortage of regular physical movement. And the key thing they stress, the negative effects kick in almost right away once movement stops for too long.
Immediately.
Pretty much. The human body is designed for motion. Keep it still, and things start to, well, struggle internally.
Right.
We see those immediate effects pop up consistently. Things like, obviously, lower energy levels, that classic afternoon crash students feel, often linked right back to this.
Makes sense.
But it also messes with sleep. You get disrupted patterns, maybe trouble falling asleep or waking up a lot, which, starts a vicious cycle.
Tired, so you move less.
Exactly. Move less, sleep worse, feel more tired. It just feeds itself.
And it goes beyond just feeling tired, doesn't it?
Oh, definitely. Lack of regular movement actually weakens the immune system, makes students more likely to catch colds, things like that. And crucially, for school life, it directly impacts mood and focus. It's not just feeling a bit down. The body is literally missing the neurological reset that movement provides.
Right. Which leads us straight to why this is such a direct threat, specifically for students and their academic work. We all kind of know exercise is good, but how does sitting still actively hurt learning?
Well, the sources point to brain function. Physical inactivity seems to reduce blood flow, particularly to the prefrontal cortex.
The brain's CEO, basically.
Exactly. Planning, focus, decision-making. Reduce blood flow there. It really drags down learning efficiency, especially for tough subjects that need deep concentration.
And what about coping? Resilience?
That takes a big hit, too. Movement is a natural stress buster. It helps process stress hormones like cortisol, take away that buffer, and a student's ability to handle academic pressure, deadlines, social stuff, it just plummets.
So by staying still, they're almost unintentionally making it harder to learn and handle the stress of learning?
Precisely. It's like a self-sabotage loop, often driven by the environment they're in.
And this isn't just like anecdotal evidence. There are solid theoretical frameworks that back this up, right? Connecting the body to thinking and feeling.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's start with someone foundational, like Jean Piaget. His work on cognitive development is key here. Piaget showed that intelligence grows through action, through interacting with the world. The research we looked at really doubles down on this. It shows a clear link between motor activity, moving your body, and better cognitive functioning.
How does that work neurologically?
It's fascinating. Moving your body, especially using those big muscle groups, gross motor skills.
Yeah.
That's how the brain originally built its pathways. Movement boosts blood flow, yes, but specifically to key areas like the hippocampus, vital for memory,
Okay.
and the frontal lobe, which handles those executive functions we mentioned, planning, focus. So when a student is active, they're literally optimizing their brain's hardware for learning.
So movement isn't separate from learning.
It enables it. It makes concentration better,
Yeah.
makes mental processing more efficient. Without that physical input, the learning machine itself is just slower, less adaptable.
Okay. And if we zoom out a bit, thinking about overall well-being and drive, Maslow comes into play, right? The hierarchy of needs.
Exactly. Maslow gives us that essential reminder.
Yeah.
The base layers matter most. Physiological well-being, that's exercise, food, rest, that's the foundation everything else is built on.
You can't get to the top of the pyramid without a solid base.
You really can't. Self-actualization, reaching your potential, achieving complex academic goals, that's the peak. But if that foundational layer of physical health is shaky because of inactivity, if a student is always tired, unfocused, chemically out of balance,
Yeah.
the whole system is constantly playing catch-up. You need that base solid, which means prioritizing movement and basic biological needs before you can reliably build anything complex on top.
And then there's emotional intelligence, Goleman's framework. That seems incredibly relevant for today's high-pressure school environment.
Hugely relevant.
Mm-hmm.
Goleman talks about self-management as a core component of emotional intelligence. And where does self-management start? Physical regulation.
Through fitness and mindfulness?
Precisely.
Yeah.
Goleman's model includes self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, social skills. Physical regulation, being able to manage your body's responses through activity, is the bedrock for emotional control and resilience. When you're active, your body has a natural way to burn off stress hormones. Cortisol levels drop. You get endorphins, maybe some GABA release, which helps calm anxiety.
So if you don't have that physical outlet,
Your emotional toolkit is weaker. Your ability to manage frustration, anxiety, stay focused under pressure, it's compromised. The body is the first line of defense against stress. If it's stuck in neutral, the brain takes the full impact.
okay, so the why is clear. Movement is crucial for the brain, for emotions. But now, the how. How has the modern world made it so hard for students not to be sedentary? It feels like it's coming from everywhere.
It really is systemic. You've got institutional factors, lifestyle stuff, home environment, even psychology, all playing a part.
Let's start with schools. That's where they spend so much time. What are the big institutional pressures?
Well, the first thing is that intense focus on academics, that pressure cooker feeling you mentioned.
Right.
This often means things like sports, PE, even just unstructured recess time gets squeezed out or devalued. Physical education might be seen as, fluffy or optional.
A distraction from real learning.
Exactly. Which sends a really damaging message. Movement doesn't matter as much as sitting and absorbing facts. It becomes secondary, or even less than secondary.
And structurally, are schools even set up for activity anymore?
Often, no. There are real deficits. Schools might lack decent playgrounds or sports fields or even enough staff for good PE programs. Sometimes the facilities are there, but they're run down or feel unsafe.
So even if the will is there, the means might not be.
Right. Space costs money, budgets are tight. Often, areas that could be used for movement get turned into more classrooms or offices.
But hang on, if we know 80% aren't moving enough, and we know it hurts learning, isn't it kind of shocking that PE is still treated like an add-on? What about the sheer lack of time?
That's a huge one. The time constraint is massive. Kids have long school days, and then what happens?
More sitting, tuition, coaching classes.
Exactly. Extra lessons, exam prep, maybe music lessons often involving more sitting. It creates the zero-sum game for their time. Every hour spent in a supplementary class is an hour not spent running around.
The schedule just fills up.
Completely. And the activity that seems to offer the most direct, immediate academic payoff, which is usually sitting and studying, always wins that scheduling fight. The system itself almost trains students not to prioritize their bodies.
Okay, moving outside the school gates. We hit technology and lifestyle. These habits seem really ingrained.
They are because they're often immediately rewarding. The biggest factor, screens.
The allure of the screen.
Absolutely. Excessive screen time just dominates free time. Whether it's games, social media, streaming, even online learning counts towards sitting time. These devices are designed to grab and hold attention.
Instant gratification versus effort.
Pretty much. Why go through the hassle of changing clothes, finding people, maybe getting sweaty, when you can get a quick dopamine hit right there on the couch?
And that changes what kids prefer to do, right?
Definitely. Digital interaction often feels easier, maybe safer, than messy, unpredictable outdoor play. And this creates a really powerful habit loop. Well, you sit for hours studying because you have to. Then, when you have free time, sitting feels like the default state for entertainment too. Gaming, watching videos, the body just learns that sitting is normal for everything. Learning, relaxing, socializing,
It becomes automatic.
almost totally automatic. The sedentary pattern just gets deeper and deeper, even when there technically is time to move.
Okay, let's talk about home. Parents, the environment there, they play a big role, sometimes without even realizing it.
A huge role. Parental influence is critical. And sometimes parents might actually discourage outdoor play.
Why would they do that?
Often it's about safety concerns, which could be very real worries about traffic or crime in the neighborhood. Totally understandable.
But sometimes it's about academics.
Yes. Sometimes it's that prioritization of academics above all else. Any time not spent studying, especially if it's noisy or involves getting dirty, might feel like wasted time to a stressed parent focused on grades.
But isn't it tough for parents too? Like, if you're working multiple jobs, finding time or energy for family fitness time seems like a big ask. What about those socioeconomic barriers?
That's a really important point. And yes, socioeconomic status matters a lot here. The research is clear on that. The urban challenge is real. If you live in a city, safe, open spaces might be far away, crowded, or cost money to access. A long commute to a park isn't feasible for many families.
So the barrier is just too high.
It can be. Lower-income families might not have money for sports leagues or equipment, so that free, unstructured outdoor play becomes even more crucial, but it's often the hardest thing to access safely.
And then there's the example parents set.
That's probably the deepest influence, role modeling. If parents themselves live inactive lives, maybe desk jobs, long commutes, relaxing with screens, that's the norm the kids see.
Monkey see, monkey do.
Basically, yes. Research shows a parent's activity level is one of the strongest predictors of their child's. If the adults are mostly stationary, it's unrealistic to expect the kids to be bouncing off the walls.
Okay, finally, let's look inside the student's head. The psychological stuff. What stops them moving, even if they have the time and space?
Well, sometimes it's just a lack of motivation, or maybe not really getting how much fitness helps everything, including schoolwork.
They don't see the brain connection?
Right. If they think exercise is just about weight or sports performance, they might not see the point if those aren't their priorities. They miss the cognitive boost entirely.
And peer pressure, does that push them towards screens?
Definitely. Peer groups today might value online achievements like getting good at a video game more than being good at a sport. Social status can be earned indoors, online. That pulls kids away from physical activity.
And what if they just don't feel confident?
That's a huge barrier. Negative self-perception. Maybe they're worried about their body image, or they feel clumsy, or they had bad experiences in PE class years ago.
So they avoid it altogether.
Exactly. The thought of joining a team or even just playing casually where they might fail or look awkward can be really anxiety-provoking. So they stick with what feels safe, often sitting, which of course just reinforces the inactivity and lowers their confidence even more. It's another tough cycle. Okay, so if we pull all those causes together, the school pressures, the tech habits, the home environment, the internal blocks, the next question is, how does this actually look day to day? What are the signs, the symptoms, and what are the real consequences, short and long term?
Yeah, the symptoms can be tricky because people might just brush them off as, typical teenager stuff. But when you see them cluster together, it paints a pretty clear picture.
A picture of a system under stress.
Physically, what are the immediate signs we might notice?
Well, constant fatigue is a big one. That feeling of being tired all the time, even after sleeping. Poor stamina, getting breathless, easily just climbing stairs or walking briskly.
Things that shouldn't be hard.
Exactly. And then there are things like frequent body aches, maybe back or neck pain from posture, stiffness, just generally reduced flexibility. These are signs the body isn't being used as it should be.
What about mentally? Cognitive signs.
These are really disruptive for school. Difficulty concentrating in class or while studying is a major one. Not just boredom, but a genuine inability to focus for sustained periods. And we mentioned the sleep disturbances, trouble falling asleep, staying asleep, irregular cycles that feeds right back into the fatigue and lack of focus. It's all connected.
And behaviorally, what choices do they make?
You often see a clear shift in preferences, an active disinterest in sports, maybe avoiding PE, preferring screen time, gaming, or just hanging out indoors over anything active outside.
The body learns to avoid effort.
Yeah, the path of least resistance becomes the default. Sedentary habits get comfortable, deeply ingrained.
Okay, let's talk impact. This isn't just about feeling a bit tired or preferring video games. It affects everything, doesn't it?
Absolutely everything. Let's start with academics, since that's often the main focus. The sources show a direct link. That reduced concentration, the fatigue, the slower thinking, it leads straight to poorer academic results.
We mentioned that CDC data linking activity to better performance.
Right. And the flip side is just as true. Inactivity is basically the enemy of academic success. It actively undermines the ability to learn effectively.
And emotionally, psychologically, this seems huge.
It often is. Physical inactivity is strongly correlated with higher levels of stress, more anxiety, and generally lower mood or feeling down more often.
And there's a chemical reason for that, right? The endorphins.
Exactly. Exercise is nature's antidepressant. It releases those feel-good chemicals, endorphins, dopamine, serotonin that help keep us balanced. Take away that regular chemical boost because you're inactive, and the brain struggles to manage its own mood chemistry. You get more irritability, maybe fly off the handle more easily, find it harder to regulate emotions.
So you lose a natural coping tool.
A really vital one, especially for dealing with the pressures of modern student life.
What about socially? Does being inactive affect friendships?
It can, subtly. Kids who aren't active might withdraw from group sports or even just casual outdoor games.
That they miss out on?
Opportunities to develop really important skills. Teamwork, communication, dealing with winning and losing, solving problems together, stuff that happens naturally during active group play. You just don't get the same experience from online interactions.
Okay, and then the big one, health. Immediate and long term. This is where it gets really scary.
It really is. Because we're seeing diseases we used to associate with middle age or older starting to appear in adolescents and even younger kids.
Like what?
Increased risk of obesity, obviously,
Yeah.
but also hypertension, high blood pressure, prediabetes, and type 2 diabetes. These are serious chronic conditions showing up decades earlier than they should.
And posture issues, too.
Definitely. All those hours hunched over desks and devices. It almost guarantees poor posture, which can lead to chronic back and neck pain down the line.
And the really chilling part is the long-term trajectory, isn't it?
That's the critical message. Sedentary habits formed in youth usually don't just disappear. They tend to stick right through into adulthood.
Setting them up for a lifetime of problems.
Pretty much. A dramatically higher risk of chronic diseases like heart disease, stroke, certain cancers, plus that ongoing poor quality of life. The choices being made now, or the habits being formed now, are literally shaping their health for the next 50, 60, 70 years.
Okay, that's a pretty sobering picture of the problem and its impact. But the good news is, it's not hopeless. Our sources lay out some very practical solutions. Where do we start?
Right. This is where we shift to action. The solutions break down nicely into strategies for students themselves, for schools, and for parents and the home environment.
Let's start with the students. What can they do, taking ownership themselves?
The key seems to be starting small and making it manageable. Forget trying to suddenly run a marathon.
Yeah, that's intimidating.
Totally. Instead, aim for something achievable, like 15 to 20 minutes of brisk walking each day. Or some simple exercises at home, just enough to get the heart rate up a bit, but not overwhelming. Lower the barrier to entry.
And how do they fit it into a busy study schedule?
By integrating it,
Mm.
and not seeing it as separate from study, but part of effective study. This means scheduling short movement breaks. After, say, 45 or 60 minutes of sitting and concentrating, get up. Walk around, stretch for 5 minutes. It acts like hitting a reset button for the brain.
A cognitive reset. I like that.
Yeah, it improves focus for the next study block. Maybe do 5 minutes of stretching or some jumping jacks between subjects. It wakes up the body and the brain.
How do they stay motivated? Consistency is hard.
Find something you actually enjoy. If you hate running, don't force yourself to run. Try dancing, cycling, swimming, join a team sport you like. If it's fun, you'll stick with it.
Makes sense.
And using tools can help. Keep a simple activity journal, track your steps with an app. Seeing progress, even small progress, is really reinforcing. It helps build that habit.
And tackling the screen time issue.
That's crucial. Set a realistic goal. Maybe swap just 1 hour of passive screen time scrolling, streaming for something active each day. Even better, arrange to do something active with friends, not just chat online. That social aspect is a powerful motivator.
Okay, shifting gears to schools, what can institutions do? This needs system-level change, too.
Absolutely. Schools have a huge role. First off, mandatory inclusion, structured physical activity, PE. It needs to be a daily, non-negotiable part of the curriculum, not an optional extra that gets cut when budgets are tight. It needs to be treated as fundamental.
And beyond just formal PE class.
Get creative with breaks. Don't just have kids sit for hours on end. Integrate short bursts of movement throughout the day.
Like what?
Active assemblies, maybe a 3-minute brain break with some quick exercises between classes. Simple things like cross-lateral movements, touching opposite elbow to knee that get both sides of the brain working together. Normalize movement as part of the school day.
And changing the culture around activity.
Essential. Schools need to actively promote fitness. Run awareness campaigns explaining the academic benefits of being active. And really important, encourage participation in sports and fitness activities for everyone, not just the star athletes. Recognize effort, improvement, consistency. Make movement feel positive and inclusive for all students.
Okay, let's bring it home. Parents and the home environment. What's the strategy there?
Parents are key role models, as we said. So first, shared activity. Try to build in family fitness time. Go for walks together after dinner. Play active games in the yard on weekends. Ride bikes. Make it a normal, fun family thing to do.
Leading by example.
That's the most powerful tool. Parents need to consciously show their kids they value activity. Let them see you making time for a walk or going to the gym or just being active in daily life. Demonstrate that balance.
And setting boundaries on the passive stuff.
Non-negotiable. Clear limits on screen time, especially recreational screen time. Reduce the easy availability of passive entertainment. And support the whole picture. Make sure kids are getting enough sleep, eating reasonably well. Those things work together with activity. Encourage exploring outdoors parks, trails, make it an adventure.
So bringing it all together, what about long-term habits? Making this stick for life.
It's about shifting the philosophy. Focus on consistency over intensity.
Daily movement, not heroic workouts.
Exactly. Aim for some kind of movement every day, even if it's gentle. Make it as routine as brushing your teeth. That's more sustainable than trying to kill yourself at the gym twice a week and then doing nothing.
What about mind-body practices?
Really valuable. Introduce things like yoga, simple stretching routines, breathing exercises. They connect physical health with mental calm, and they give students practical tools to manage stress anywhere, anytime.
So the ultimate goal is integration.
Holistic balance. Intentionally weaving together academics, physical activity, and relaxation into the daily and weekly plan. When you schedule movement with the same seriousness you schedule homework, it stops being optional. It becomes a fundamental part of a successful, healthy life.
That's a lot of great strategies. And the sources actually provide some practical tools to help listeners get started right away, right? A kind of growth toolkit.
Yeah, exactly. Because knowing isn't the same as doing. The toolkit helps bridge that gap.
So what's the first step in using it?
Self-awareness. There's a self-assessment worksheet. It guides you to honestly look at your current habits. Asking questions like, do I really get at least 30 minutes of activity most days? Do I generally feel energetic? Do I actually take breaks from sitting? Being honest here is step one.
Okay, so you figure out where you are now, then what?
Then you use planning tools. There's a weekly movement challenge. This isn't about huge goals, but about committing to specific activities on specific days. Like, okay, Monday lunch break, 15-minute walk, Tuesday evening, 20 minutes stretching, Saturday morning, bike ride with family. And importantly, reflect afterwards, how did that activity make me feel physically, mentally?
So you connect the action to the benefit.
Exactly. And there's also a daily adaptability planner. This helps you see how to fit movement into a busy day.
Showing it as possible.
Right. Maybe it's 10 minutes of stretching right when you wake up. Maybe it's scheduling a walk immediately after your longest study block. You plan it in, like any other appointment. And again, reflect. Okay, I balanced study and movement today. Did my focus feel sharper afterwards? It reinforces the connection.
So if we boil down the core message from everything we've discussed, what's the big takeaway?
I think the clearest concluding insight is this. A healthy mind really does depend on a healthy body. They aren't separate things. Physical fitness isn't just something extra you do if you have time. It's fundamental. It sustains academic success, emotional resilience, everything.
So prioritizing movement actually unlocks potential.
Absolutely. When students and the systems around them nurture physical well-being, they're directly boosting focus, building resilience, strengthening their ability to cope and learn.
Movement isn't the distraction.
Movement is the foundation. It's non-negotiable for optimal learning and well-being. Choosing activity is choosing to be a better learner, feel better, think clear.
Well, thank you for joining us for this deep dive. It's clear that getting students moving is critical for so much more than just physical health. Before we sign off, any final thought for our listeners to chew on?
Yeah, just a couple of reflection prompts. As you go about your day today or this week, think about this. What's just one sedentary habit you have? Maybe that extra half hour scrolling social media or always taking the elevator that you could replace with something active, just one small swap. And maybe more fundamentally, how do you currently view exercise? Is it a chore, an obligation, or can you start framing it as something enjoyable, something that helps you feel better and think sharper? Shifting that mindset is often the biggest hurdle.
Great points to consider. So take these ideas, take those tools, and maybe take a walk. Start moving. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.